Hi guys, we're gonna continue, if we get cut off, we'll continue later. Dress selection and design. Structure makes the shape. A design is a plan, an arrangement of lines to form shapes which combines to make up a whole. So, let's see. Although beauty of silhouette is the primary goal of dress design, this end can be reached only by using enough seams and darts or folds of drapery within the contour to mold the fabric to a three-dimensional form without wrinkling. And artistically placed seams, darts, and folds accomplish even more. They support and strengthen the design theme by harmonizing with the silhouette and with each segment within it. At their best, they produce the shape and supply the design theme. Learning how many seams are necessary to produce a smooth, wrinkle-free silhouette and where to place them to produce a fine arrangement as well is the sum and substance of designing. Hidden seaming. A person who is unaware that seams and darts are functional may prefer a design sketch barren of seaming and mistake a contour unbroken by any lines for simplicity, a quality well worth admiring. But a truly simple dress, one that may appear at first glance to have no lines inside the contour, reveals on closer inspection, subtly concealing seaming which inconspicuously molds it to the body. Although such a dress may have little to recommend it on a hanger, the wearer gives it the understated look admired by people who know clothes. Featured structural details. Designs that feature structural details are in no way inferior to those with inconspicuous shaping of the details, are well spaced and harmoniously related to the silhouette. Yokes, pockets, ties, collars, cuffs, details common to all fashions, are at their best when they are functional as well as decorative. Yokes literally support fullness and carefully spaced do it decoratively. Pockets introduced into seam lines, ties, and collars cut in one place with blouses and cuffs cut onto sleeves are all integral parts of the structure. They develop from it naturally. Cut separately and sewed on the same details may be equally useful but less ornamental. For many, small segments sewed together appear patchy and cut up. Decorative line. A garment also may contain lines or spaces introduced for a purely decorative purpose. Embroidery, beading, applique, banding, braiding, or any other ornamental device which may be ripped off without interfering with the structure underneath has only to enrich the surface. Two kinds of surface decoration are used in design. Forms applied to the structure, stitch by stitch or by bead. Embroidery, beading, trapunto, applique are generally superior to the second kind, which includes braiding, rickrack, or any trimming bought by the yard and sewed on. Because braids, and this is all opinion, so because braids are and rickrack applied, even rows form monotonous lines. Varying the arrangement improves their design quality. So yeah, variety is definitely a good thing, but sometimes it's good to have irregular lines too. It depends. Self-fabric piping or binding emphasizes piping or binding emphasizes the beauty of a seam line more subtly than braid and is a better risk if the seaming proves less effective than expected. It says the collar, cuffs, yoke, pockets, and belt grow out of the structure of the dress. The details also may be cut separately and attached. Banding arranged to avoid monotony of parallel rows. Just summarizing, and then okay. Flat textures often are improved by surface decoration that allows either important structural lines or emphasizes dominant structural shapes. But decoration that ignores the seaming of a garment and wanders aimlessly over the surface competes with the structure instead of supporting it. So it says don't overwhelm the structure of the dress by too much added on to it. So less is more sometimes, I guess. For example, trapunto work or padded quilting greatly enriches the yoke and sleeves of a handsome wedding gown, but an applique of realistic cherry spilling down the side front may or may not be too much. So the cherry design is trite, and its casual placement throws the dress out of balance by disregarding the structure. So it's saying make sure the structure of the dress matches with the decor on it. So they're like at the same level. Look sharply at the quality of structural seaming before decorating the surface. Because ornamenting a carelessly placed seam line or an ugly shape accentuates the structural inferiority. Confidence in judging quality of design depends on understanding the meaning and character of lines as well as the principles of composition that guide their arrangement. Line and meaning. Only two kinds of lines are possible, straight and curved. A straight line, interpreted literally, is ruler straight. A freehand line is more intriguing because it is never exactly straight. In fabric, even a sharply pressed pleat seldom appears absolutely straight because it is softened by the motion and curves of the body. Compass-drawn curves, exact segments of a circle, are monotonously exact, whereas freehand curves range from round to nearly straight in infinite variety. Each kind of line expresses its own meaning. Straight lines, the lines of concrete and steel, denote force and strength. Curves are the lines of nature, flowing soft and graceful. Restrained curves tapering off into straightness or reversing direction merit a second glance because of their subtlety and are preferable to full-blown ponderous curves. So it just depends. Okay. So this is showing some trapunto embroidery on the dress of a wedding dress on the yoke and the sleeves. and that brings attention to the upper part of the body. Line direction and character. All shapes are enclosed by at least 2, often 3 line directions. To avoid confusion, one direction must predominate. A design derives its distinct character from the direction stressed. Only 3 directions are possible: vertical, horizontal, and oblique, which is diagonal. But variety is almost infinite, because oblique lines may, like the fanning rays of the sun, vary from horizontal to vertical and left to right. So it's like this dress right here. Where is it? Where am I going? Oh. Like her skirt is all fanning. And this is showing some appliques. So I actually like the appliques, and the pleats on the skirt I also like. It goes with the body's movement and flow. Honestly, I like the decor. I don't think it's too much, and I don't think it takes away from the dress. It is good to be careful, of course, and not to overwhelm a dress with too much, and make sure that it matches, like in color and the style. But sometimes it's good to have enrichment. It's too boring to always be plain and not have anything going on. You know, I mean, everyone looks the same, like a bunch of robots and clones of each other, the same exact dress and same pattern. And it takes creativity to choose a design and not always just wear bland outfit all the time. And be self-expressive. So it's good to show your personality sometimes, you know. You don't always have to go along with everybody else. Uninterrupted vertical lines express stateliness and dignity. Soaring upward like pillars in the nave of a Gothic cathedral. A dress with vertical predominating is also stately, somewhat severe, and generally increases height. Long verticals are widely recommended for stylish style. They shorten by refuting natural lines. So it's talking about more structured kind of dresses. Horizontals have the opposite effect. Emphasis on line parallels to horizon suggests quiet, repose, and peace. An architect will design a low-lying house clinging to the land to emphasize horizontalness. In dress, the strongest impression produced by horizontals is reduced height and increased width. They press the wearer down to earth. Some horizontals or near horizontals are needed to counteract verticals, but only tall, slender women dare emphasize horizontals exclusively. Active dynamic oblique lines assume the character of the direction which they most nearly approximate. Long uninterrupted diagonals tilting almost vertically are the most leaning and most dynamic of all lines. As diagonals flatten out, they assume the tranquility of horizontals and consequently have a broadening effect. Repeated zigzag can be disturbing, like a chain of lightning. Their movement is generally too violent for use in costume. Diagonals are too restless to be used without the stabilizing force of one or both of the other line directions. A design allowed to wind around the figure like the spirals of a shell, without opposition or interruption, appears incomplete and unbalanced. So they're just opposing or different points of view. Obviously, anything you do has to have a balance, and it has finiteness to it. You can't keep doing the same thing forever. You have to eventually stop. So, line movements. The arrangement of vertical, horizontal, and oblique lines, either straight or curved or in combination, produces line movements characterized by opposition, transition, or radiation. So in summary, we have straight and curved lines, verticals, horizontals, broadening, obliques, lengthening, dramaticizing, flattening out, tranquilizing, broadening. Did I say broadening already? So make sure things are not too exuberant, and you can be more restrained, and also don't be too plain, in my opinion. So let's keep on going. Like this dress right here. Using all kinds of lines. It says horizontals used exclusively are becoming only to slender figures. And verticals increase the height. And then anyways, you know, there's all kinds of things going on. Okay, opposition. Shapes bounded by right angles, formed by opposing verticals with horizontals, or designs using opposing diagonals, express strength and smartness. Angularity carried too far, however, suggests severity, even masculinity. A dress or suit without a single curve is seldom a wise choice. Many believe that nothing emphasizes femininity more effectively than a suit with sharp angles. This is true if the fabric is flexible and the figure well-rounded. For opposition is as sure a means of emphasis as repetition. For opposition, okay, I'm just repeating the same thing. But harsh lines interpreted in hard, firm suiting worn by women with angular, bony frame express efficiency with a vengeance. I mean, it's your dress is a utilitarian thing, and therefore, if you need to wear a certain type of dress, you're gonna wear it, regardless of what shape your body is. You know, I mean, I don't think it's good to judge people based on their appearance. You know, whether you're curved or not curved, or skinny or not that skinny. Any kind of dress will look good on you if it's utilitarian and functional and appropriate. Absolutely straight verticals or horizontals are rarely seen in costume. Slightly tilted and slightly curved lines harmonize better with body curves. The words vertical, horizontal, straight, therefore, should be interpreted as relatively but never exactly. A shoulder yoke which curves slightly and tilts downward toward the center, or a lower edge of a jacket that both curves and slants downward slightly from both front to back, conforms better to body curves than a line formed by pencil and ruler or by tearing a cloth along the grain. Opposing oblique lines, though forceful, are less static, less stolidly foursquare than opposing verticals and horizontals. Since obliques never oppose the contour, particularly when they are slightly curved, they assume a transitional character. Transition. When one line directly slips smoothly into another, the movement is transitional. So this is showing an outfit with some zigzags in it, and she mentioned this has lines that are oblique or diagonal, and this has lines that are more square, perpendicular. So this bracket explains the term simply. All curves are transitional in character in a design with curves predominating harmonizes naturally with the woman's figure. But just as a design composed entirely of harsh angles is uncompromisingly rigid, one composed exclusively of curves is weak, and curving lines are at their best when stiffened by some straight lines. They are at their worst when the whole costume is soft and spineless. So it's saying have some angular lines and curves, not all totally straight. So, yeah. Radiation. Oblique lines fanning outward from a central hub, like the spokes of a parachute, express the line movement known as radiation. So, like radiating outward. The billowing skirt of a princess line dress fanning outward from a slender waistline is an example. Radiating movement also predominates in all clinging, draping gowns in which the folds are drawn up into a cluster, and skirts with folds radiating from the waistline or in cowl drapery. However, radiation is not produced exclusively by flares or draped folds. A fitted bodice can be molded as smoothly by seams that fan obliquely as by seams that run vertically or horizontally. Because radiating lines never lie parallel, they focus interest on their hub and afford a variety of directions. But overuse of radiation, like overuse of oppositional or transition lines, weakens its effect. Unbroken background space makes any theme more effective. To create successful designs, use two line movements. For example, temper oppositional straight lines with transitional curves. A severe suit needs relief of subtly curved lapels or pockets. A soft dress suit requires narrow oblong-shaped skirt to strengthen it. Never allow folds to fan or twist around the figure without verticals to break the spiraling movement. A change of direction, if it is not overemphasized, makes the dominant theme more emphatic. So this is showing like a skirt and a dress. Got some angles going on. So talking about lines and structure, not completely draped. Principles of composition. Established principles guide and control handling the art elements: line, form, texture, color. Mastering and understanding of the meaning of these principles saves blind groping for answers about quality or of design and hastens the development of sound judgment and selection. You cannot absorb their full significance, however, until you've applied them repeatedly in judging many designs. Principles are guides and not dogmatic rules or formulas that guarantee success if followed slavishly. Aesthetic development is not that simple. Principles lead to artistic development only if combined with personal feeling, taste, and imagination. The four main principles of composition are proportion and scale is 1. 2, rhythm, measure of movement. 3, balance and symmetry, asymmetry. And 4, emphasis, dominance, subordination. And 5, someone added harmony in here. Harmony is kind of like balance or symmetry or asymmetry. So if there's 4 principles: emphasis, dominance, subordination, what are we emphasizing, what are we not emphasizing? Balance, symmetry, asymmetry, or harmony. Rhythm, measure of movement. Proportion and scale. We're gonna, I think, pause there. Thank you guys so much. My page is facebook.com/useallplay. So I'm gonna pause and I'll see you guys later. Bye. With this ballooning set over here.